You're still letting emotions sit at the strategy table. That alone tells me everything. You call it passion. You call it loyalty. You call it a good heart. I call it a flaw that hasn't been exploited yet. You say you plan ahead, but your heart collapses the moment someone ignores you. You say you're focused, yet a single criticism derails your entire path. You call that being human. I call that being livestock. Let me be clear. Emotion is not weakness by itself. Uncontrolled emotion is submission. You were taught that feeling deeply makes you noble, that reacting strongly proves sincerity, that pain deserves expression. A lie, all of it. Emotion is merely information, nothing more. The moment it dictates your actions, you've surrendered control. They use guilt, and you kneel. They use silence, and you chase. They shed tears, and you forgive. They flatter you, and you trust. You think you still choosing. You steer not. You're responding. Like a trained animal pressing a lever. That is why you never finish what you start. That is why your will collapses when pressure arrives. That is why others move you across the board, while you tell yourself you see being kind. You say, "But I have a good heart." Congratulations. You've polished the blade they'll use to cut you. The world does not reward sincerity. It rewards composure. Power never belonged to the loudest emotions. It belongs to the one who can stand in fire and feel nothing but calculation. Your mind is your greatest weapon. Your emotions are the rust eating it away. Every time you spiral because someone ghosted you, every time you scroll endlessly to numb emptiness, every time you skip discipline because you don't feel like it, you weaken yourself. Not because you lack talent, but because you lack control. People who surpass you aren't braver. They aren't smarter. They see just quieter inside. They don't wait for confidence. They act. They don't seek approval. They position themselves. They don't chase peace. They accumulate leverage. You, meanwhile, apologize too quickly. Overthink too loudly. Care too much about how you perceived. That's why you lose. Not because you seem inferior, but because your inner world is chaotic. Discipline is not just doing the work. Discipline is executing while your emotions scream and refusing to answer them. Here's a truth most will never accept. You are only controllable when you are predictable. And nothing makes you more predictable than emotion. They know what makes you jealous. They know what makes you desperate. They know exactly which button turns you into a puppet, so they press it. Every time. That's why the truly dangerous ones are unreadable. Ayanokoji does not show emotion, not because he lacks it, but because the moment emotion leaks, information leaks. And information is power. You want dominance? Then become opaque. A smile when anger is expected. Stay silent when explanations are demanded. Disappear when forgiveness is assumed. Leave no pattern to exploit. Control is not loud. Control is confusion. If they cannot read you, they cannot stop you. You've been chasing motivation like an addict. Chasing a high, waiting to feel ready before you move. Pathetic. I don't rely on motivation because I've removed emotion from the equation. I act because action is required, not because it feels good. Winners do not ask themselves how they feel. They ask what must be done. You are stuck because you're addicted to emotional permission, waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel whole. You don't need to feel anything. You need to move. The world doesn't respect moods. It respects execution. The strongest version of you does not wait to be ready. It advances while bleeding, plans while doubting, sharpens itself through pain, instead of running from it. That version is dangerous. Right now you stand at a crossroads. Return to your emotional loops, or burn them down. Burn the neediness. Burn the validation. Burn the reflex to react. Train yourself to remain still where others break. They ghost you. Remain calm. They insult you. Remain silent. They disappoint you. Remain focused. This is not about becoming heartless. This is about becoming untouchable. The strong are not cold by nature. They are cold by choice. Because once you control your inner world, nothing outside can threaten you. Every failure you've ever had came attached to a feeling. Fear, comfort, impulse. You chose ease over discipline, distraction over structure, emotion over strategy. You cried when you should have calculated. You forgave when you should have vanished. You are not broken. You are untrained. Your mind is soft because you fed it softness. Now starve it. Stop seeking more motivation. Stop seeking more words. Stop seeking reassurance. Seek control. Control your reactions. Control your emotions. Control your internal world. Only then do you control your fate. You were raised inside an emotional system designed to tame you. Shame, guilt, approval, those were the real chains. And you wore them willingly. If you want power, you must detach, not just from people, but from the emotional framework that built you. Power does not come from feeling less. It comes from standing outside the game entirely. Sit in silence. After this, let it burn. When your excuses die, when your emotions stop screaming for attention, then move. Because once you master yourself, nothing in this world needs to be chased. They will come to you.